can probably sort of see. So we're going to do some crafts in the van. We've got some antlers that we've foraged, and I've cut them down to make some rings. They're all rough at the minute, so you can either leave them rough like that, but when they're on your finger they're a bit chunky. So what I've done is when I've sort of finished, fits a lot better. I've polished it all, sanded it all down, polished it all up. So we're going to go through how we did that. First of all, I need to cut some blanks. Actually, we'll go through the tools that I used. Nothing particularly special. I'm using a circular saw because I've got one, but hacksaw would do the job. Couple of drills, got a normal drill and an impact, and that's only because I've got two drills, so keep swapping bits out. Possibly a grinder, but don't have to again. To put the holes in, I'm using a cone cutter, because you can set the depth of different sized holes then, so if you want a smaller hole for your fingers, or if you want a bigger hole. Not using a lathe or anything particularly special. So yeah, we'll cut some blanks off of this, and we'll come back. I won't do too many out there because it's peeing it down the rain. Alright, put some light on so you can see us. So yeah, a couple of blanks that are just rough sawn up and slightly, depending on how thick you want them. If you want to do some engraving and that on them, make them slightly thicker. Some of them I've done, you can put a slight mitre on it and make them so they seem thicker at the top and thinner at the bottom. But yeah, so we've got some blanks to get started with. We'll do it with a slightly thicker one. Just want a set of grips that I forgot to get out. So I've just gripped it in the middle. You can also use, I started off using hole cutters, but they rip it up when you're drilling into it a bit more than a cone cutter does. And like I say, cone cutter, you can decide on what size hole you want, for whether it's for little finger, thumb, wedding ring size. If you know what size you are, you can just put your cone into the right size. So I'm going to go with, actually put it on top of a tray. probably, I don't know, we'll see how it goes. We've not got much material there to work with. These are going to be quite small ones. But that is basically it for drilling the hole. This grips again. Sorry about the noise. I'll mute the sound while I'm drilling. Just leaves a little bit of a lip on the inside edge, but we'll get that when we sand it out later. So now I just have to find a socket that fits on that size hole, which appears to be, whatever that is, about 1/2 inch I think. Should push onto your socket nice and tightly. Mine have got a slight taper on them, so it pushes down. Might just make the hole slightly bigger so it fits on it. Not much. Just give it a tap down. No, we won't. It's going to get tight. Thought I had this all planned out, but we'll get round it. Could just find another socket, it would be easier. There you go, so it's on the socket, nice and tight. That's not really coming off easy. And then I have got, and take the cone cutter bit out. I've got an adapter that goes into your drill to fit a socket on, so that's a 1/2 inch adapter, so I've got 1/2 inch sockets. And we should do it up. And we have our own mini lathe. starting off with quite abrasive paper, so that's 40 grit sandpaper, and we'll work our way down in the grades and then polish it up. There you go, we've got a rough sand on it, so it will just go down to a lighter paper now. Mute it again so it doesn't deafen you with a drill. So it's starting to come up a bit better. You're starting to see the colours of the antler coming through. But as you can see from there, it's rough on the outside edge still. A bit more polishing first though. So now I've got the outside done, there's no real major gouges in it, it's fairly smooth all the way around. I'm just going to take a bit of this roughness off the edge here, and because it sits further out than the socket does, there's a bit of a protruding lip. You can take a small bit of sandpaper and just run it around the edge. So we'll knock the speed back on the drill, then we'll just go for it, trying to keep it at a 45 degree angle. take the light out of it. So you see it's just put a bevel on it, so it should be smoother on your finger. Now we've done this front edge, we're going to do this back edge. So while I'm messing around with this, so what we've done is we've took an antler, we've cut the stock off of it, and we've made some blanks, which are just slivers. Make them as thick or as thin as you like. And then we've used a hole cutter to drill the hole in the middle of it, sanded it down, and now we're just going to polish it up. So for that I've got a bit of beeswax. Actually, before we beeswax it, what we will do is we'll take the roughness off of it, which is done with a leather belt. So same principle as the sandpaper. Is we'll put some gloves on so you don't burn your hands. And turn it off while I spin the drill up. There we go, so let's give it a buff on a bit of sheep's wool, and you can see the nice colours that are coming out of it. Just going to flatten these edges off a bit, but it's nice, it's coming out well. So that started off like this and is now, show you the, covered in fluff, looking like this. So we've gone from that to that. You can see the size difference, how much we've sanded off of it. It fits on your finger, lovely.